This guy's a bit nicer.
He is a
He's
bit
actually
nicer.
very nice. It's just delivery wasn't great.
Yeah.
So
Go
we're
ahead,
going to
Mel.
comment on his delivery.
Yeah, we are.
So the story. My wife, Alyssa, and I had twins 2 years ago. The pregnancy left her with stretch marks and loose skin on her stomach, which she's been extremely self-conscious about. I've been very careful not to make any negative comments about it. In fact, I make it a point to tell her that she is as beautiful to me as she ever was.
That's very sweet.
That's very nice.
That's very sweet.
It makes no difference. She doesn't want me to see her naked, and all of our lovemaking has been in nearly complete darkness since we finally resumed it. It took nearly a year after the twins were born before she felt confident enough to go back to it. Determined to lift her spirits, I took on overtime at work and have managed to save up enough money for her to be able to go in for a tummy tuck. When our anniversary came recently, I surprised her with the money and told her what it was for. Her reaction has left me hurt and confused. Instead of being thrilled, which I truly thought she would be, she burst into tears. She barely spoke to me for 2 days. Given how much she's been complaining about her appearance, I thought she would be jumping for joy. Where did I go wrong?
Oy. Where did he go wrong?
Yes.
It's a tough thing because obviously, you did save up this money for her. You're trying to solve her problem. And I think that is what a lot of men do to women. They want to solve our problems. Where like women, we need to talk about stuff. We don't actually want advice a lot of the time. We just need to talk it out. We need to feel things. Men want to solve things. They want to give us advice. They want to solve our problems. When we don't want that, we just need to feel embraced for who we are a lot of the time and like giving us validation of whatever that means. We don't want the money for a tummy tuck if we're having problems with our tummy. I don't know, Mel. I haven't had kids. If someone was like, hey, if my husband was like, hey, I know that you don't like your let's get you a job. I'd be like, you know what? That sounds really good. And I appreciate you for listening. But maybe it's not the same thing.
So I think this is actually a very interesting story in the sense that I think it really demonstrates the way men and women think.
Yeah.
And I think, quite honestly, he's obviously a very sweet man. This is a very nice thing to do. He's really concerned, number one. He's done what he thinks is find a solution to the thing that's making her unhappy. And he's also been telling her how beautiful she is. And that he thinks by him saying, but you're beautiful, I still love you, you're just as beautiful, and not actually commenting about it, he thinks that goes somewhere in her brain and she goes, oh no, he doesn't think I'm fat. But then unfortunately, although the solution is a tummy tuck, I mean, in a logical person's mind, that is the solution.
You've loose skin, you just had babies, it's twins too.
Yeah.
Like
it is a solution. But to her, by offering that, it's confirming what she has been fearing, that he thinks I'm ugly and fat, although he actually doesn't. And I know it's completely illogical, and it's a very female situation, because we should say this is actually from Slate magazine. And I discussed this with my husband, and we had exactly the male-female reaction to it. He was like, well, poor guy, like he's done everything. He's done overtime. He's really thought about it. He's done a really nice thing. He's been, validating how beautiful she is to him. And he's done this because she's been complaining about her appearance, and he wants to do something positive, and he's got the money, and he's done all, so how can she do that to him? And I'm like, well, that's the thing about women, is even though she knows she has loose skin, even though she doesn't look the same, yada, 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 she doesn't want him to in some way confirm that is actually the truth, even though it's the truth.
Exactly.
And by him doing this confirms the truth.
Exactly.
And I know that's very messed up, and that's a very female thing. And I think, so there are two parts of this issue. When you have children, particularly if you're having twins, you probably will have extra skin. I mean, I've had 2 cesareans, and you just have this layer where they sort of sew you up twice of skin you just can't kind of get rid of, no matter how much, whether you're the thinner version of yourself or not.
Right.
You just sort of have a bit of extra skin.
Yeah. You're a mom. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And
you've given birth. You've literally made life.
I've very much come to terms with it, and it is difficult. But maybe she she has excessive amounts or a bit more, or quite frankly, it's probably all in her mind, which is often with women, that we see something that's absolutely hideous. It's actually not at all. And you see something more than is there. The problem is that I think the way he approached it, although really from a great place and really with good intentions, I guess before he offered the money for the tummy tuck, he should have added a layer to that. He should have said something like, look, I know are you still not happy with your parent? He should have caveated and said, I know this is kind of crazy and it's like talking to a child, but I think sometimes that's the way you have to do it, is he should have said to her, I love you and you look beautiful and I'll always love you and you've given me the 2 beautiful children, that sort of conversation. And then sort of said, are you still unhappy? You seem to be unhappy when you're talking to me, right? You always have to say, it's not me saying it, it's you saying it to me. And then if she said, yeah, I'm miserable. And he said, look, if you want to do something about it, and I'm saying, if you want to do something about it, I have the money, we can do it. That is probably the way he should have approached it.
Yeah.
And I know that's crazy, but the way he probably approached it is, I love you, I've done this great thing. And then she just went, oh my God, then you do think I'm fat.
Yeah.
You can see how it unfolded.
Well, especially because it was for their anniversary, right? That's what it was.
Yes.
It was like a present.
Yes.
But it's like getting your wife a vacuum for their, you know what I mean?
A little
Obviously,
bit.
it's not the same thing, but it's like
it's a very expensive vacuum.
But
but I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, here you go, here, because you clean, because you were complaining about the vacuum. Here's a vacuum for her. It's like, well, you could have used that money. Let's say if she maybe doesn't even want the tummy tuck, she just needs to be validated more and more and more.
Yeah,
get her a nice trip. I don't know how much a tummy tuck is. 10 grand, maybe.
Yeah,
around there, maybe. Let's just say 10 grand.
Yeah.
You could have bought such a nice vacation for the two of you. Maybe even bring the twins or get the grandparents or something to like have the twins for like a few days or like a week even, hopefully. And you can just go out together and like make sure that she knows that you love her and all these things where it's just like
100%. Or he could have given her the option. He could have said, I've been doing the overtime because you're married, you kind of got to be a bit real,
Yeah.
And so I've got the money, and I want to buy you something that you want.
Yeah.
What would you like? Would you like, and maybe laid out some options. And maybe you do have to, in some way, if you think in your mind it would help her to have this tummy tuck, you should say to her, you can spend the money on whatever you want. I know you're unhappy with this. Is that what you want to use the money for? We don't have to use the words tummy tuck.
Yeah.
You could just say, I know you've been very unhappy with however she puts it.
Yeah.
And then say, do you want the money for that? Would you like to buy some jewelry? Would you like to go on a trip? Whatever you want. I love you, sweetheart. You're very beautiful, blah, blah, blah.
Thank you for giving me children.
Exactly. And that's probably the way he should have approached it. But I think he approached it as you said, from a very male point of view. There's a problem. There's a solution. And we're going to offer said solution.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's totally logical and fair.
It's super logical and fair. And like I said, like I'm like, if a guy were to be like, offer you a pair of because I know you wanted them.
Yeah.
I would take that as a thank you for listening. I will take that money for this.
Yeah. And I think that's the point, is thank you for listening. That's a really good way of putting it. He's actually been listening to her.
He's literally been listening.
Her pain. And I think the thing that I say from the female point of view that is wrong that she's doing is, come on, you're married to this guy. You know what he's like. You know he's a thoughtful person, blah, blah, blah. You obviously must know he's not being mean. Thanks so much for listening. Please rate and review this podcast and follow us on social at Sharing My Truth Pod, and leave us a voicemail on our website at sharingmytruth.com to share your stories and experiences with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.